Welcome. I'm right, you're wrong, don't let them. I'm your host, Del T. Bobbins. Today's topic, love and marriage and the conflicts that come with. As you know, I like to start each podcast with a prayer. I ask you to say a prayer silently, ask God to help you discern the truth, and ask for guidance. I love comments. Please keep an open mind and heart and share your comments on all the topics. And I like to start out with a prayer for those of us sharing views, especially if you come across one of those situations where bad behavior continues to happen when good people say and do nothing. It's a beautiful prayer for that situation. It's written by Peggy Hall from thehealthyamerican.org. God, I long that people might hear the truth. Give me assistance in reaching others, with my heart uplifted for grace and wisdom. Guide me to share my views with fullness of truth, clarity of thought, proper expressions, fervency, and conviction, guided by your wisdom and light. Keep me conscious of my faults and flaws. Open my heart to hear the sorrows of others, and shine your light of comfort and peace, so no soul may be lost to your love. Strengthen me by your Spirit. Stand between me and all strife, so I may speak fully and freely. Please let me do this work that you have called me to do. Amen. So, my dad used to tell me that in the human journey, romance is probably the greatest experience. Others agree. The greatest experience in the human journey, and losing it is the worst. Romeo and Juliet and ancient love stories. So hopefully you haven't had a heartache yet, but it's not fun. But another dear friend, and by the way, my dad said you can't really teach anyone how to prevent that heartache and what to do. Everyone's got to kind of experience for themselves, even though you can lovingly give your advice. My dear deceased friend Irv said that humanity rests upon people falling in love, pledging it through marriage or commitment, and putting God first in that union. He also said that sexual attraction and energy make the world go round. Passion, whether love or hate, that's what fuels life. Passion is the emotion that truly changes the world. Helen Fisher's TED Talk highlights romance and love as one of the greatest joys and one of the deepest pains, as mentioned. So go on TED Talk. I think it's on YouTube also. It's called The Brain in Love. Helen Fisher. I got to meet her once. Wonderful lady. So The Brain in Love by Helen Fisher. So again, we humans evolve technologically, but in matters of the heart, we must all experience love and heartbreak ourselves. We really can't teach that one. So marriage, I was always kind of a hippie and obviously critical thinker, question authority respectfully, although, and I never thought that you needed a piece of paper from a judge, justice of peace, or from a minister, a religious person to say, hey, you're married now. But I've come to appreciate that more because, obviously the greatest part of marriage is in your heart. That's the true commitment. Yet there's a practical benefit to making marriage legal. In emergencies, for example, or financial reasons, legal marriage gives us protection. We have to navigate this world with driver's license and dog tags and fishing licenses. So there's some certain social constructs, not that we have to answer to anybody. But when you introduce your husband or wife to someone rather than your partner or roommate, that defines how important that person is to you. It's not about permission or showing off. It's just a way to honor who they are in your life. Legal recognition, of course, doesn't prevent divorce, but it adds weight to the commitment, sometimes encouraging counseling or reflection rather than jumping and running. If you say, hey, here's my girlfriend, here's my roommate, here's my partner, what are you, business partner? Or here's my wife, that says everything. So a wise minister once told me that if couples keep the word divorce or separation or splitting, if they keep that out of their vocabulary in their heart, then they'll be okay because they'll always find a way to get around the problem. But if divorce is an option, when it's hard, everyone will look for that exit. So remove that word from your heart, and then there's no turning back. Because again, it becomes how you get past the conflict, not if. Of course, there's extreme circumstance, personal violence, or threats to life that may require intervention, but even then, Solutions like counseling, anger management, or temporary separation can be pursued without ending a sacred bond. The most beautiful wedding vows I've ever seen are in a 16-minute video that I treasure, and both the husband and wife repeat the same commitment with the same words, but their deliveries are different. There's a moment in the vows where they turn to their families and friends and promise, "When the going gets tough, we will turn to you." It's a gesture of shared responsibility with a sacred promise that God ordains and should never be broken. I'm a hopeful romantic. I believe in forever, and I think if two people choose each other every day and work at the conflict and don't take an exit, it can all work. These vows, have you ever heard a vow that says for better or for worse, in sickness and health, in good times and bad, except when you piss me off, then I'm out of here? That doesn't happen. Every problem, again, even extreme ones, can be worked through if two people honor God first, then their marriage, and put their egos on the sideline. So again, I've been a romantic since I even knew what that was. As a kid, I would see people holding hands, and it made me ache for that connection. It wasn't about sex, because I didn't even know what that was. It was about intimacy, how two people look at each other when they're in love. If you love yourself and don't settle, the honeymoon never truly ends with the right person. Two people who honor their sacred promise with God at the forefront continue to choose each other every day. And forever means forever, no matter what means no matter what. Since childhood, then, I've asked couples who have been together a long time what their secret was in 25 words or less. In heterosexual couples, the man often jokes sarcastically, "Well, all you have to do is say yes, dear." Then he usually gets very serious and sentimental, even teary-eyed, admitting that his wife was the glue that held everything together. Both partners confess that they've wanted to leave each other multiple times, but they didn't. When they put God first, then the marriage, they found a way to work it out. Other couples would answer that question by emphasizing friendship, humor, sharing in each other's worlds. But the most consistent advice is don't let the sun go down on your anger. If an argument can't be resolved before bedtime or work, step temporarily away, but say first, "Hey, I love you. I want to work this out. We'll resolve it later." It's about maintaining love even in the middle of conflict. And you can say, "Hey, I really can't stand your guts right now. I hate your behavior, but I love you and I'll be back," because love is stronger than hate. It kind of reminds me of the Garth Brooks song, "If Tomorrow Never Comes." So never leave someone or go to bed angry. I learned that painfully when I was 18 years old. My mother passed away suddenly. Since childhood, we always kissed her goodnight on the cheek with a hug. But that night, because I was angry at her, I didn't. I woke up to find her dead, and I had to live with that regret for a long, long time. So never hang up on anyone that you love. Instead, tell them, "Hey, I want to work this out. I'll be back later." In love and romance, it's like a jigsaw puzzle when you handle conflict sometimes with your spouse or your boyfriend or girlfriend. So I've heard a lot of different counselors, online and off, and one of the best, in my view, is Annie Lala. Her husband Eben also is part of a very high end, but really good stuff on YouTube. There's 100 million videos. But the three that I love from them are their wedding vows. So if you Google that on YouTube, Annie Lala wedding vows, that'll show you the ones I really love. There's also a longer video called The Hidden Power of Conflict. The Hidden Power of Conflict. Annie Lala, that's A-N-N-I-E, Lala, L-A-L-A. And it's about 45 minutes long. It's a really, really good in-depth one. But the most profound video also comes from Annie Lala. It's 3.5 minutes. And if you listen to nothing else in my podcast, go watch this video. It honestly is, in my view, the most profound message of our lifetime. It's called "Will Conflict End Your Relationship?" Sometimes it's found under "Can Conflict Ruin Your Relationship?" I don't know why there's two different algorithms there, but you'll find it. The graphic is a close-up of a man's profile with an angry face on it. Please take a minute and view that. So what the suggestion there is, and please patronize them, they're great people. When you have a conflict, sit next to each other on the couch, not across from each other, not on opposite ends of the dining table, glaring into each other's eyes. Sit side by side. Now take that problem, that conflict, imagine as if it's a tangible object on the coffee table. Place it in front of you, not between you, but in front of you. It's not a barrier. It's a shared puzzle to solve. Remove shame and blame and guilt. Leave your ego at the door. Love stays, and then you and your partner are now teammates facing that challenge together. With the problem right there in front of you, you brainstorm, you discuss, you explore solutions. You're now collaborators rather than opponents. One hand might gesture pointing out an idea. The other might reach out to touch the table, drawing a line or marking a step. But you are both above the issue, not trapped under it, not separated by it. The conflict loses weight when it's shared as an object that you can handle together rather than a dividing wall. And in that space, you might just find not only a solution, but a deeper understanding, even a little laughter along the way. So again, please watch that video. It's the most powerful message, I believe, in our lifetime. Thanks for listening. God bless. See you in the next episode.